watching The End Zone, sponsored by Lucky Star Casino.
And welcome to another NBA Finals edition of The End Zone. Along with Josh Calloway, I am Colby Daniels. I feel like in the state of Oklahoma, Josh, for what feels like about 6 months, it's all Thunder all the time. It's not been that long, but the playoffs are a long journey. And just listen to the players in both the Indiana locker room and the Oklahoma City locker room throughout this series. You can tell that this has been a grind and a long journey, and especially this series. 4 games in, it's now tied at 2 games apiece. It's been a roller coaster ride of emotions for both Indiana and OKC.
Yeah, there's been like 5 series worth of things have happened in the first 4 games of this thing. It has flipped back and forth, and somehow it's back tied coming back here to Oklahoma City. But yeah, the momentum swings over the course of this series already has been unbelievable, and we still have maybe 3 games to go.
Possibly 3 games to go.
Yeah.
The good news for the Thunder is if there are 3 more games, 2 of those are back at the Paycom Center in Oklahoma City. It's now a best of 3. But going back to that Game 4 win Friday night for Oklahoma City, 111-104 is the final. We basically said for 48 hours, this is the biggest game in Thunder history, right? They lost home court advantage in Game 1. They get Game 2. They fall short in Game 3. They had to regain home court advantage in this series. And Game 4, it didn't look good, if I'm being honest, right? I mean, 3 three-pointers the entire game, and somehow you're able to gut out a win. There were a lot of things that went wrong, but a lot of things that ultimately the Thunder did right over the course of the second half to pull out what seemed like an Indiana Pacer win.
Yeah, biggest game in Thunder history produces the biggest win, I think, in Thunder franchise history. It's hard to really argue for anything other than this game being the biggest win for this franchise. It just, to find a way, like you said, only 3 threes to win an NBA game in 2025 is borderline impossible to do. It just goes to show you how good the Thunder were getting to the paint. They dominated the paint. They got to the free throw line a lot, and they largely made their free throws, which is a huge key. And it was basically the flip of Game 1. In Game 1, they had the lead all night but could never quite pull away from Indiana. And then the Pacers had that big flurry at the end and found a way to win. The complete opposite tonight. Indiana was the better team most of the evening, but the Thunder just hung around, kept it within reason, and then in the last 3-4 minutes, SGA took over, and the Thunder found a way to win it and to tie it up. It just like I kind of said at the top, this series, right when you think you kind of have a little bit of understanding of the way it's going, it flips on you.
How many times in an NBA game have you seen a team shoot so badly from the outside, but they decide to double down on it, right? Especially when they fall behind. It's like, now we really have to start shooting threes.
Right.
The Thunder didn't do that tonight. I mean, they did take threes, but none of them were bad. None of them were forced. It didn't feel like they were making it a point to shoot the 3 ball. You only make 3. But they were ultra aggressive, right? They made up for that by getting to the line. I think 38 times was the final number, 34 of 38 from the line. Ultra aggressive going to the bucket. And, I think in the moment it's easy to think you have to make a bunch of threes to climb back into a game where you're facing a deficit. But just being aggressive, I think, set the tone for that fourth quarter comeback. And the final, 5 minutes was unbelievable. The fact that you're down 104 to 99, I think was the number, or 103-99. It's a 4-point Pacer lead with 3 minutes and 20 seconds to go, and you outscore Indiana 12-1 over the final 320. What a finish for this team.
No, absolutely, and you said it. That is most teams, and we've even seen the Thunder kind of be guilty of it at times, falling in love with a 3, and especially when you're down on the road. They went down 10 in the third quarter, of this game, and the fact that they managed to stay the course, get to the line, get downhill, only taking 17 threes. So I talk about making 3 is a crazy low number. Taking 17 is a really low number, in modern NBA. And so, getting to the line, making your free throws was a huge key down the stretch, obviously, of this one for the Thunder. And, the final 4 or 5 minutes, they were just completely the better team. The Pacers couldn't score at the end of this game.
Right.
Thunder locked down defensively, got some turnovers, and then the MVP was the MVP, and that was the difference in the last few minutes.
Speaking of the MVP, he scored 38 in Game 1, 34 in Game 2. That was a record for most points scored in a player's first 2 NBA Finals games.
Right.
He was held to 24 in Game 3 and only 3 points in the fourth quarter. Andrew Nembhard certainly defended him really well, and there's been a lot of conversation the last 2 days about whether he's tired and how the Pacers are maybe wearing him down. We saw the Thunder change up their rotations with Shai. He sat early in the first quarter. I don't know if that was because he's tired or if that was to prevent him from being tired, but whatever it was, in the final stretch of the fourth quarter, he had enough juice to to ultimately get it done. He was a monster down the stretch, and Mark Daigneault spoke about Shai's performance in clutch time.
He's unreal, obviously. Really closed that thing offensively. He and Dub, did a great job there. Just execution-wise, the shot making, he was outstanding. But I just thought the whole team, that was an uphill game against a great team. I mean, this is one of the best teams in the league in the last couple months since All-Star break. And they're a hard team to beat here. They're a hard team to beat, period, obviously. So I just thought we gutted it out on a night where we really didn't have a lot going, especially offensively.
There you go. That was Mark on SGA in clutch time. Let's hear from the MVP on digging deep when the game was on the line.
I just tried to be aggressive. Like you said, I knew what it would have looked like if we lost tonight, and I didn't want to go out not swinging. I didn't want to go out not doing everything I could do in my power and my control to try to win the game. The guys deserve that much from me. The coaching staff deserve that much from me. And I just tried to be aggressive, but also just let the game come to me, not try to force anything too crazy. And I guess it paid off.
You're a Thunder fan, you got to love that. I didn't want to go out not swinging, and he certainly delivered haymakers down the stretch of this game. That is Josh Callaway. I am Colby Daniels. We'll take a quick timeout. We got to hear from J-Dub and Alex Caruso coming up next. Thunder won a big one in Game 4, 111-104, 2-2 series in the NBA Finals. Along with Josh Callaway, I am Colby Daniels. Welcome to the End Zone, as Thunder fans got to be really excited to spend the entire weekend preparing for Monday night's Game 5, and I'm pretty excited to be in the building on Monday night. I think the Paycom Center is going to be a very special atmosphere, maybe iconic by the time we get to Monday, and obviously it's a massive swing game with a championship on the line. Going back to the Game 4 performance, we talked a lot about Shai and how great he was. Shai is not the clutch time MVP that he was in Game 4 if you don't get an incredible performance from Jalen Williams over the first 3.5 quarters, right? He was the Thunder's best player for 3.5 quarters, and you can make the argument that Alex Caruso was the Thunder's second best player for 3.5 quarters. He gives you 20 points, 5 steals, 1 block, 3 rebounds, 2 of those on the offensive end. I mean, his fingerprints are always all over the game, but to also provide 20 points on a night where you didn't really get a ton of scoring outside of the big three, that was massive. Yeah,
100%. The Thunder were able to stay around in this game and hang in it largely because of Jalen Williams. I mean, he was kind of the go-to scorer. It felt very reminiscent of Game 3 against Denver, right, where that was kind of the same thing, where Shai was kind of not rolling the way that we're sometimes used to seeing him just fill up the score column. But Jalen Williams was playing really well. He was so aggressive getting downhill and getting to the rim. I think he only took 1 3. He was really had a mindset of, I'm going to get to the rim, I'm going to get fouled a lot, and I'm going to make my free throws. And that's what he did at a very, very high clip. And then obviously Alex Caruso, I mean, what can you say? He's had just an unbelievable postseason. He continues to just do a little bit of everything. The fact he's now adding 20 points to the mix. He didn't score 20 points the entire regular season. He's now done it twice in the finals. He has just been on another level in this entire postseason, but even especially so in the finals. He's been beyond incredible, and the Thunder have needed it. They've needed that from him, and he's delivered.
It's crazy how many times in the regular season I heard people ask, why would you give this guy this giant contract extension?
Yeah.
He's not a regular season player. I know that he's been an all-defensive guy, and you see what type of defender he is, but his value doesn't show up in the regular season.
It really doesn't.
It shows up in the postseason. And he said it himself, he's not going through the motions in the regular season, but no human being can play with the motor that he plays with in the postseason for 82 games. It's not humanly possible.
Yeah, and major knock on wood too, but a big question throughout, he was banged up all the time. He missed a lot of games. It was kind of a question of how are they going to keep this guy on the floor? And despite him being everywhere and playing his hair's on fire, I guess bad expression considering he's bald, but he's absolutely just a lunatic out there, and I mean that in a positive way. He has been obviously very durable, and he's played a lot of minutes in all these games, basically starters minutes off the bench. Still got a few games to go, but Jalen Williams joked that he's 100 years old. It hasn't looked like it. He's been absolutely everywhere. He never runs out of energy. He's the Energizer Bunny out there.
I've called him a psychopath on
He
multiple
is. He
occasions,
really is.
and I mean that in the best way possible. That's a massive compliment
No, he's a
to
maniac.
Alex Caruso. He is a psychopath, and
Yeah.
I mean, just go back to the defending Jokic sequence in the Denver series,
Yeah.
and that'll tell you everything you need to know. Speaking of Jalen Williams, he spoke on Alex Caruso, and what you're talking about, you'll hear it right here.
What makes Alex very good is that he's able to figure out what we need and be that. Makes big shots, and then obviously defense speaks for itself, but he's just really smart, so he's kind of like our fill-in. Like, he does a really good job of just seeing what the game needs and then doing it at 100%, which is hard to do since he's like 100. So, yeah, he's just like he's just our glue, on that end of the floor, and then defensively he's been special, and, he'll continue to be that for sure.
I love that they give him a hard time about being so
great.
old. I mean, he's ancient compared to the youngest
He is the old
roster
guy.
in the NBA. He
Yeah.
significantly raised the average age
Yeah.
because he's so much older than everybody else. But the way that he's acclimated into the locker room, and again, this team is so close, but Alex Caruso and Isaiah Hartenstein both, big pieces on the court, but also have clearly become big pieces off the court.
Oh, for sure. I mean, they're a mature team for their age with how young they are. SGA, we talk about it all the time, the way SGA and Chet and J-Dub, they're all such young guys,
Yeah.
but they really handle themselves well. But it still helps to have that veteran presence. And Caruso, he's basically like an extension of Mark Daigneault. He's a coach on the floor. He's the guy on the bench a lot of times that's calming guys down, and it's hard to even quantify that. And obviously, everything he does on the floor is obvious, too. He's been an unbelievable addition to this roster.
He's become a cult hero for
he's
Thunder
very
fans,
popular.
and
Yeah.
he was asked in the postgame, like, what superhero would you be?
For the superhero reference, we'll just do Robin, because that seems to be the only one that I can probably, make some similarities to, because I got better players around me that are doing more. But, I'm just, I want to win. I don't care if it's pick up in September before training camp. I don't care if it's game 45, 50 before All-Star break. If it's game 4 of the finals and you're down 2-1, like, I want to win. And that's what I'm focused on. And I think over my career, my abilities have gotten better through some work ethic and through a little bit of confidence and understanding the moment and having success in the moment, but really just fighting through failures.
There you go. If that doesn't make you want to run through a wall, he's just, I want to win. I don't care what it is. I want to win. Run through a wall for Alex Caruso, who, by the way, is a light blue Gatorade fan, as you can see. They have the promotional Gatorades on the table.
Yeah.
He had his own personal Gatorade, light blue.
That's a
thumbs
solid
up
choice.
on the light blue
strong
Gatorade
choice.
for Alex Caruso. All right, we're going to take a timeout. It is dunk or pass next here on the End Zone. Welcome back to the End Zone, along with Josh Calloway. I am Colby Daniels. It is Thunder Mania in the state of Oklahoma. 2-2 in the NBA Finals, now 2 wins away from an NBA championship. Hard to fathom that Oklahoma City potentially could be hosting a parade within the next 2 weeks, probably, depending on how long this series
Game
ultimately
7
goes.
is still over a week away.
That's right.
potentially.
That's right.
Yeah.
Still over a week away, but hard to imagine that potentially is that close.
Yeah, it's crazy.
All right, it's time for dunk or pass. I will make a statement. If you agree with it, you are going to dunk. If you disagree with the statement, you're going to pass.
All righty.
So
Sounds good.
pretty simple concept here. All right. Alex Caruso in the last segment said that he identifies most with being a superhero Robin from Batman and Robin. So give me the superhero comp for the Thunder starting 5.
The whole thing?
Yeah.
That's tough.
All right, start with Hartenstein.
Hartenstein, he feels like a Hulk. I'm going to go with Hulk for Hartenstein.
I was going to go Thor. But I think
I'm
we're kind
with
of
you. I'm with you.
in the
Yeah,
same
I was
thought
thinking
process
big.
there.
I just went
okay.
big. Yeah,
okay,
that was
there we
my
go.
cop out for big.
All right, what do you got for Chet?
Chet, let's see. He's going to have to be a tall guy. Who's tall? Is there any tall superheroes that jump out to you? I can't think of any tall superheroes.
I was thinking like Reed Richards from Fantastic
Yes.
Four, maybe?
That's phenomenal. Yes. Mr. Fantastic.
Mr. Fantastic? I mean, there were a couple plays on
That's
Friday
spot
night
on.
where Chet's arms, I feel like, extended
That's spot
to
on.
potentially
That's definitely spot
make
on.
somebody have to reshape their shot trajectory.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm thinking for Chet. All right, what do you got for J-Dub?
For J-Dub, I'm going to cheat and say Dort Iron Man. I thought of that one just
Okay,
now.
I like that. I like that.
Just built bricks,
Yes.
brick wall. Jalen Williams, I think SJ is going to be Batman. I'm going to jump ahead on that one too.
Okay.
I like Batman for him. Who is J-Dub? I don't got one for J-Dub. You got one?
See, I was actually thinking Batman for J-Dub, and then Shea's going to be Superman.
Okay.
But I mean, you could maybe
I'm
go in
thinking
a different
SJ's
direction.
he's just too cool to be. He's Batman to me because he's just got the aura.
He does have the aura, but he
Yeah.
also feels like he has superpowers.
Yeah.
And Superman obviously has the greatest superpowers. Batman's just a guy, right, that has cool gadgets.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
For
super
sure.
cool, but
I got you.
take that for what
Bonus
it's worth.
one. I like Spider-Man for Caruso. Just
Okay,
a
I like that.
pest.
I like
he
that.
sticks on you. A pest.
I think Robin was pretty good.
It's pretty
but,
good. It's
I mean,
pretty
he
good.
could probably just play Robin in a movie. He just
Yeah.
kind of has that look. But
post NBA career.
I like it. All right. Dunk or pass, Isaiah Hartenstein starts Game 5. He did not start Games 1, 2, and 3,
Mm-hmm.
but he was moved back into the starting lineup Friday night.
Yeah, I'll go with Dunk. I didn't mind going back to it. I mean, you could talk me into it either way. We got into that a little bit after Game 3. I was okay with going back to the original starting 5. That's what got you there. I wasn't ever crazy about the change in the first place. Now, that being said, the first quarter was their first quarter of the series. So I'm still not really harsh either way, but I'm
Yeah.
going to say Dunk that they leave it with Hartenstein. I'd be okay with that.
I'm going to go Dunk as well. I think they leave it, but with Kaysen, they outscored the Pacers in all 3 first quarters, and with
right.
Hart, they trailed at the end of the
And
first.
Kaysen had his worst game of the series tonight.
By far. So I
Game
think they
5.
keep it the same, but I don't hate it if they go back. All right, dunk or pass. The NBA Finals will end in 6 games.
I'm going to say pass. I think we're going to split here. I think
Okay.
we talked about the similarities with the Denver series. I think we're going to keep doing it. I think Oklahoma City wins on Monday night, but then I think Indiana will hold serve. We're going to have one game for everything next Sunday, which will be, I don't know if I could even take that.
I like
It'd be
it.
so ridiculous. It'd be the pressure of it, but I think we're going
I'm
7.
going to pass. I think that the Thunder, in a slugfest, by the way, I think Game 5 is going to be fun. I
be
think
a
it's going to
war.
be back and
Yeah.
forth. It's going to be a war, to your point. I think it's going to be tough, and then they're going to be up 3-2, and I think that's when they put it on Indiana. I think they get it on the road. I think they get it done in 6. All right, final one. This one might be controversial. Dunk or pass, SGA now is the greatest player in Thunder history.
I'm going to say pass, but he's 2 wins away from getting there. If they win the
Okay.
championship, I think unquestionably he would be the greatest player in Thunder history. He's close right now. I think he's still to lean Russ for longevity purposes, Russell Westbrook, but a championship, and I think no argument, he would have to be the guy.
This is not, and I think sometimes you get into these debates and people take it as like the guy you don't choose, you are somehow
Yeah.
like trying to demean like their legacy or something. I'm not doing that at all. I'm just simply saying Russell Westbrook never won 2 games in the NBA Finals,
Sure.
much less delivered 3 different 30-point performances in the NBA Finals like Shea has. I think Russ was a great player. When he was the best player on the Thunder, though, they never even won a series in the postseason.
Fair.
Much less, and I know that his team around him wasn't
I
nearly
think
as
what-
talented.
What Russ
but
means to the franchise in the city outside of basketball.
That's fair, that's fair.
It carries, but again,
Yeah.
championship, I think it's over.
it's over.
But, yeah.
Officially, the baton is passed to Shea.
if he gets
they
if he
claim
gets
the
2 more
title.
wins,
Okay.
I think it's done.
2 wins away then.
Yeah.
All right, we'll agree to disagree, but it's still
Yeah.
very, very close to happening.
For sure.
All right, we're going to take a timeout. Thoughts on Game 5 Monday night next year on the End Zone. Welcome back one final time to the End Zone following the Thunder's Friday night Game 4 dramatic win, outscoring the Pacers 12-1 over the final 3+ minutes of the game and really sending the entire state of Oklahoma into a frenzy. The most important game in Thunder history Friday night, and they deliver in the clutch. Game 5 is going to be absolutely electric on Monday night. In terms of the basketball part of this, what are you looking forward to?
Yeah, I think if you're Oklahoma City, you're feeling pretty confident coming back home. Obviously, at home in the postseason, you've been really, really good. You only lost twice, and both those games were games I think almost every Thunder fan and the team would tell you they should have won, right? They had the lead, and they should have been able to finish it and didn't do it. The crowd will be insane, like you said. I'm very interested in the starting 5 part of the equation, but I think you have to feel pretty confident. The way they closed Game 4, I think coming back in front of the home crowd, Thunder will be probably a healthy favorite, and they should be. I think you have to feel pretty confident coming back in front of the home crowd for Game 5.
I thought the depth in this series was a massive advantage for the Thunder, and through 4 games, I feel like I've been wrong. I feel like Indiana's depth has shown more
Their bench has been
in this
awesome.
series than the Thunder's depth, and I think the 2 days off is going to be massive for OKC to just reset a little bit and be ready to go into a game with that much urgency. I also think there's no way on planet Earth you shoot as poorly as you did from 3 in Game 5. If you do, it would be shocking, but the percentages just say that you have to shoot better in Game 5, and they're gonna come with urgency, and I think it's gonna be an all-time classic game, and I can't wait to be in the building Monday night. It's been a fun series, absolutely. For Josh Calloway, I am Colby Daniels. We will talk more Thunder hoops next week here on the End Zone.